once again, we're back. It's me, Moses. After hours, Steve and Wale.
Peace.
As you know, we're Drum and Fire Productions. So, we've been on this journey called What is Mental Health to You? And so far, we've been on this thing called Touch Deprivation. But I want to move on from that a little bit. It's still something similar. It's something we've all been reading on, and it's called attachment theory.
Okay.
So basically, let me read what attachment theory is. So I'll take my glasses off for this one. So attachment theory is this. It's a theory, it's a psychological framework that was developed by John Bowlby, a British psychiatrist and psychoanalyst. It focuses on the nature of emotional bonds between individuals, particularly between infants or young children and their primary caregivers. So according to attachment theory, basically, human beings have an innate need to form strong bonds, which actually sounds similar to certain animals within the animal kingdom, which we'll also get to as well. So they also need to form those strong emotional connections with others, especially during childhood. These early relationships play a crucial role in shaping an individual's social, emotional development throughout their lives. So interestingly, the theory suggests that infants develop an attachment to their primary caregivers as a result of repeated interactions and experiences. When caregivers consistently respond to an infant's needs and provides a secure and nurturing environment, a secure attachment is formed. Right? So, when you look at this, there's also different styles to this as well.
Can I say something there, big man? Can I say something there? Mother, child's born. For child to survive, needs to be breastfed by a mother. Mother instinct is for child to survive, so she breastfed. That's the bonding thing right there, my bro.
But it goes a bit deeper than that though still.
Okay.
Because now, in amongst six attachment theories, there's 4 styles of it.
Yeah.
Right? So one is what is called a secure attachment. Right?
Feeling
that
safe.
Secure attachment basically is defined like this. Children with secure attachments feel safe and secure when their caregiver is present. They are comfortable exploring their environment and seek comfort from their caregiver when needed. They trust that their caregiver will be responsive and available to meet their needs.
That's a parent at home all the time.
Yeah, it's not just that, but you know what it also is? If you look at children, right? Look at a child. If a child knows that their parent is there, even before that child starts climbing up onto something,
he's going to look at your parents, because he wants to know.
Are you there? Are you watching me? Are you, because they feel safe. They want that reassurance.
Well, it's like animals, isn't it? The same thing. They feel,
And then one of the other style, second style is called anxious preoccupied attachment. Basically, the child with an anxious preoccupied attachment style is often anxious and insecure. They may be overly dependent on their caregiver and worry about rejection or abandonment. They seek constant reassurance and may exhibit
cleanliness. That's number 2.
That's the second style. Right? So that second style, that you can
a needy child
that child that holds on. It might be again when you look, you see that in an adult. Sometimes you look and go, why is this person so clean? Maybe
they're coming from that side of the background, from there.
So then there's
that's then if they're coming from it and they haven't received. They haven't received the validation or the continuous.
Basically,
continuous interaction. They haven't received that.
They've not had that security.
What's this? 4 parts?
Yeah, there's 4 parts to it.
What's the third?
So the third one is avoidant attachment. So basically, children in an avoidant attachment style tend to avoid or minimize closeness with their caregiver. They may appear emotionally distant and independent. This behavior may be a result of caregivers who are consistently unresponsive or rejected.
Yeah, so that's
but they're still in the house, so it's not like a soldier that's gone away.
That's the child. That's the child.
That's not a parent.
That's the child going into protective mode.
Yeah, because
basically, and then they're the ones who grow up, and they're the ones who we'd refer to them previously as loners. You refer, you know,
the lone wolf,
because basically what they are is they're completely happy by themselves because they haven't received the continuous touch, they haven't received the continuous validation.
But they all still go back into one, though, you know.
And because they've received the rejection, they go into a protective mode where they're going, right, okay, I'm not going to get hurt anymore, so I protect myself, so I keep everybody at arm's length.
And then you've got the fourth one. It's called disorganized attachment. So children with a disorganized attachment style display a mix of contradictory behaviors. They may exhibit fear or confusion when interacting with their caregiver. This attachment style is often associated with inconsistent or abusive caregiving. Right? So attachment theory basically has been influential in understanding various aspects of human development, including social relationships, emotional regulation, and mental health. It has been applied to various fields, including psychology, education, and counseling, to inform interventions and support healthy attachment patterns in individuals across the lifespan. But you see, this is interesting.
That's very interesting.
Because you've got 4 different styles of attachment.
Yep.
Right? But here's a kicker. In amongst all of that, you've also got the opposite. You've got the extreme side of attachment, which was kind of referenced in the third one, which is the third one, which was the avoidant attachment.
Yeah.
Right. Which that one's, you know, because it's the person's always irresponsive and
it's pushing the child away, bro. They don't want to be a parent.
It's pushing the child away, so the child almost becomes self-sufficient.
So a soldier going away doing the duty and things, not gonna be, you know what I mean, be there for the child and thing. What other attachment would that be when he does come home?
Like when I first read into this, the thing I found interesting when I first read into this, because I like to do. There's a thing I like to do. I like to always apply things to my own situation,
experience or whatever,
my own experiences. And I looked at this and I found that to be quite honest,
which one would you be?
I'm a mixture of all 4.
That's what you think you are.
Yeah, I think.
But I said to you when you was reading it, it kind of rolls into thing, you know, the bonding. To me, it comes under love, bro. Love of a parent and a child. It's that simple, man. I'm telling you, man. And you know, you're right. There's different upbringings and attachment. Some parents are strict. They still love them though. Some parents are alcoholics or not there, gamblers, out the house. They still love them. They're just not parents.
But like
but some parents don't know. Some parents don't know how.
Some children are parents. Kids having kids. You know what I mean? That's that. You know what I mean?
But some parents. The thing is, some parents also don't know how to be parents.
That's what I'm saying.
Because basically, what they're doing is the thing.
And what you said, we
referred to previously.
Past episode, generational trauma, whatever.
So you're passing on in terms of how you were, instead of preparing this child for the world. And also, when a child is very young, the first, in my view, the first step of any parent is to protect, which is obviously when we look at in terms of animals.
That will bring the bonding and things. But you all 4, you went through abuse, you got abandoned, no one cared about you, and then they did care about you.
But that means like the ideal is the first attachment.
Yes.
Which is secure attachment.
Secure
That's the ideal one.
Because you know that's the child that knows their parent is there.
Bro, animals is the same.
You want to be there all the time.
I could born a chicken, it looks at me, he's going to say, Daddy.
But do you know what I found interesting in all this?
I'll tell you this, Steve,
and I could leave him.
Steve, if you gave birth to a chicken, I swear to God, I can make money out of you.
I hear what you're saying. It's interesting. It's interesting, and it does affect.
And please let me know if you're ever going to give birth to a chicken,
bro.
Because I have an idea in my head on how we can make money.
I'm going to let myself know that because I need to go to another planet.
What I found interesting with this stuff is in this breakdown, right, where it said that we want to form close, intimate bonds.
Yes.
And I was thinking, okay, within the animal kingdom, where do we really see this type of behavior? Which part of the animal kingdom
The
can
great
I actually
apes.
really say?
You see it in the great
Attachment.
apes.
No,
Well,
apart from-
attachment,
no,
lions,
apart from that,
prides.
You see it in the great
wolves.
apes.
No, apart from that, where I looked at it most of all, you said it just now, wolves.
Wolves, they're
Yeah, but the
families. They're
pack.
family, a
Wolves are
pack.
the ultimate pack animal.
The pack, you know what I mean?
They're good. They
for-
can
yeah.
be loners, but they
No,
can be
wolves moves in
loners,
packs, bro.
but
man.
they
yeah,
function better.
in packs. But they're smart. They will take you down with a pack.
They function better in pack because obviously there's a hierarchy to the pack. You know, you have the alpha male and the alpha female, and the alpha male is always the leader of the pack.
No, but a wolf,
when they're moving.
a wolf will see a prey, and a wolf will be smart enough to see it.
No, but the thing is, I'm talking
I'm
about
not
in
big
terms-
enough to take down this juggernaut. Let me go and get my boys.
I'm talking
and
about
come
how
back and take it down.
I'm talking about how when
There's
they
the bonds that they make.
Yeah.
when they bond them, I'm talking about how they move because obviously when they move, what you have is at the front you have the alpha male who is immediately followed by the alpha female, and then following them is the beta male and the beta female. You know, the second in command, so to speak. But right at the back is also the most important part of that entire pack, and that's the omega, because the omega is bringing up the rear. Now, with anything like that, when you see a pack animal, especially, for example, with wolves, the omega is as important as the alpha because the omega has to protect the rear. But what the omega also has to do is the omega has to look out for those weakest in the pack because the pack. You look at a wolf pack. You look at a wolf pack. They never leave their weakest member. The weakest member leaves, but the pack never leaves the weakest member. The weakest member will go off to die, but that's the survival of the pack. And the omega is the one that's protecting that because of the bonds they've created. But that's the bond they have. And you look at the alpha male. The alpha male is the only one who can breed.
But again, you come back to the secure attachment. See, that's what I said. When you bring it into the animal, the other set of animal kingdoms, apart from the apes, I know evolution is always like to say we're descended from apes, as much as I like.
Oh no! If you look at
if you look at the big
family.
cats, especially lions.
Yeah.
If you look at a pride of lions.
Prides, isn't it? The family.
Yeah, but of
Whereas
all the big cats, the lions are the only ones that do that.
Whereas with wolves, if you look at cats, you will find most of the times that females are given the position to lead.
Yes.
And the lion follows
behind.
Right? But when you look at that, it's a different type of confidence.
No, because the thing is with a lion pride is the male. Again, we come down to.
But what whales will swim in pack as well? There's another whale that swim in packs. That's family. Yeah,
dolphins.
Family. Don't leave it.
Whales. But you look at the hierarchy of a lion pride. The lion pride's hierarchy is completely different because when everybody looks at a lion pride, most of the time you see the male lion sleeping, he's just resting. But the lion pride, the male is there to protect.
Yeah.
Whereas the female is the caregiver, to find the food, hunt it down. So when you ever see the footage of a lion pride basically hunting, you always see female lions or juvenile lions are doing the hunting. Where's the male lion? Well, his job is to protect the pride from other lions or hyenas or any other.
But here's the thing. Here's the fun thing. I always see it.
But that's again, we come down to the bonds that they have created.
When you look at the interaction between a lion and a lion cub,
Yes,
and you see they will allow the playfulness up to
biting the ears.
To a point,
listen, when it gets enough is enough, it's either a swap of the paw or a specific type of roar.
And
so you know
they understand.
Yes.
So when I look at that, I always then transfer it to that interaction between fathers and sons.
Yeah.
Right? We all know within the family, the primary caregiver in the family, that's the mother. Whether you can argue
The mother runs the house.
it's the mother. Primary caregiver in any home.
Yes, them.
Right? The dad is second.
Yep.
Right? So now, when you look at the behavior of a lion cub and a lion, you see that you see, you can look at that behaviour, look at the same behaviour between fathers and sons,
Yep.
human beings. So when I was looking at this and I was looking at myself and looking at all these different attachments, and I said, right, which one am I inside? And I had to be honest with myself and say, listen, I'm all for. But then I had to take it to an extreme. And the extreme I took it to was abandonment as well. Because if you look in one of those series, disorganized attachment,
That's number 4, isn't it?
Yeah, abandonment issues were in it. So I know that's why I looked and said, okay, we can't really talk about attachment if we don't talk about the opposite, which is abandonment.
Yep.
And I had to really ask myself, I said, is this a subject you really want to talk about? Because...
Well, you just did.
Because I'm like, you're dealing with some of this shit, right? I said, but okay.
Yeah, well, that's the
Can
biggest.
I talk about it and deal with it at the same time?
Because ultimately, it's the biggest fear of any person, in terms of how our society is the biggest fear is to be abandoned, to fall through the cracks.
Yeah, no one wants to be abandoned.
No, you don't.
No one wants to.
But then we conform, in amongst the fear of being abandoned, we end up forming many a time wrong attachments.
Yeah. But what you're saying, what you're saying, there's not even being abandoned left on the island. You're abandoned in your house that you think is a family house because of that.
No, but you're also talking. What you're talking about is basically in terms of wrong attachments. Is basically what you're doing is you're going to the extreme again to overcompensate. So you're looking for the wrong attachment, and you could find somebody who is, while you yourself turn around and says that you're a mixture of all 4, you could end up finding yourself attachment to the person who is just number 4. Yeah. And as an adult who's gone through that, that's the wrong attachment for you, because that's just going to screw you up physically, screw you up mentally, and
that's how you feel now.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's how you feel now.
But I'm not gonna lie. I formed some attachments, right, and some entanglements.
Entanglements, yeah.
I formed and attachments as well, and entanglements. All right.
That's trademark, by the way. You know.
Is it?
I don't know. She might have done.
Well, we are in the month of August. I know I'm a dick.
Yeah, you are.
I found that, through life, I've had the wrong type of attachments. And
yeah, but isn't that you're saying having the wrong kind of attachment? But that's literally coming down to how, when you've looked at this theory and you've analysed it and you looked at it, and you look at basically your upbringing, and your upbringing does determine what does happen to you and what you try to do in the future, i.e. we have mentioned this before. The alcoholic has 2 sons.
Yeah.
One son becomes an alcoholic because of his father. One becomes a non-alcoholic because of his father. Yeah. So effectively it's what
you choose to do.
What, again, it's...
Well, it depends on the human being you bump in. It's the choice, but you don't know human nature.
But it is a choice, but there's also a psychological reason why you make that choice.
There's something you're looking for. That you're looking for something that was lacking in you.
Not only looking for, but sometimes what you received.
Yeah.
So, because, and the reason why I say that, because if you're an abused child, there is that theory, and has been for years, that basically you will either be an abuser when you become older, or you will more likely go into relationships where you are being abused.
Yeah. Again, it's that back to the choice.
But again, back to the choice and back to the childhood, because you think that's normal for how you should be living. That's what basically, for all intents and purposes, that's what you deserve.
Because the thing is, I found that, and the crazy thing is, when you're getting into these attachments, you will end up getting into attachments with people that got even more crazy problems than you, right?
Yeah.
And you end up forming some extremely toxic attachments that sometimes you can't even detach yourself.
I think the classic example of that is a woman.
That's humans.
A classic example of that is a woman who goes into a relationship and the word that comes out of her mouth is, "Oh, I can change him."
It's not even that. It's
because
the same with a man.
No, it is. It is.
No, but men do it as well.
Yeah.
I can change her.
Yeah.
It's that adage, right? Well, some people aren't going to like the word I'm about to use, but to be honest with you, it is what it is.
What changed it into a...
You can't make a whole housewife.
You know what?
No.
If you're real, you know what I mean? 101.
No, but that's it goes back to that adage. You can't make a whole housewife.
Yeah,
So
well,
if you say, oh, okay, I'm married a hoe, I'm going to change her, blah, 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 and then you now get, and then she carries on hoeing, what? And then she goes to you, well,
and who's the father? And who is the father?
You understand? And then she says to you, but I'm a hoe.
Yeah.
As in, what did you expect was going to happen?
Wow.
So now I found myself in some of those kind of
Entanglements.
because in those entanglements and attachments, because I was looking for something I think that I was missing. But then I found that when I looked back in retrospect, that even in those relationships, I found that again, I was able to easily attach all these different styles of attachments to each person and to myself at different stages of my life. To say, okay, looking at this stage,
you was going through this,
and this is what I needed at that time.
All the stages.
And then I would attach myself to someone who I felt could give me. Meanwhile, all this time, what I was looking for was with me.
Yeah.
No one else could give me that. You can't make me happy, Steve can't. As much as Steve makes me laugh, he can't make me happy. There's a difference.
Yeah.
As much as he makes me laugh, he can't make me happy. As much as you and I speak about very tough subjects, you can't make me happy. As much as Susie loves me, as much as I love her, ultimately, she can't make me happy. Only I can make me happy.
Yes.
But what makes me happy?
But that's what you.
That's what everyone is searching for, bro.
That's what the thing is. That's what everybody.
That's what everyone is searching for, man.
As Steve says, that's what everybody's looking for.
Everybody's
looking.
for
I used to say this, that basically, is how you are and how we are is basically you're either chasing the job title or you're chasing the money. And I myself was doing that period of time. You're having your head in terms of this is where I want to go and this is what I want to do. And I've realised that basically what I'm chasing now is happiness.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
I'm chasing what makes me happy,
bro.
Not just from a professional point of view, but also from
your personal.
Yeah,
bro.
And
for me,
I was in bad relation.
The closest for me to even feel that thing chasing is when I'm not worrying. So whatever fun I'm having, that my mind is, Steve is not worrying just for that split second. That's the happiest I am. But once I'm back to reality, you know what I mean? I'm back on it. Mental health.
I think there's part of it that basically you will reach a point when you've gone through part of the journey that we all call life.
Yeah.
And I think when you, again, this has come back to when you find the partner, because we had this discussion, you've mentioned this previously in other episodes, where you're looking for...
You're happy sometimes, though.
You're looking for the secret keeper.
Yeah.
Right, you're looking for the person who can share, who can
ride or die,
who can share the burden with
you. Be there.
And what you're looking for is once you find that person, you know when you find it, because that's the one that you go, yeah, this is the moment. This is the reason why I'm at this point in my life. And this is something I said to the kid when I was raising. I said, I regret nothing that I've done. I regret no choices that I've made. I regret nothing. And when they looked at me and said, well, why? I said, because everything that I have done has led me to this moment where I'm in this point in my life and I'm in your life.
But even if you look again, so even if you look at it, you came into her life, yeah, just leave me with it. Just leave me to run with that. Because my brain is a dinosaur brain.
I know.
I can't form the they, them.
Yeah, I know.
I know you won't be upset. So when you look at it, because I know quite a bit of your family, so where that original secure attachment wasn't existing, you were put in a position where
so there was no first.
Yeah,
there was no first. You skipped
a secure attachment.
Yeah, or tried to.
How about that you tried to? How about you started that from 5, 6 years old?
Yeah, about 5, 6 years old.
And then got to this point. So me now, I looked and I said, and I had to look at my attachments. I even had to look at my interactions with my own kids to say, okay, how has my shit? How have I maybe pushed it onto them?
Without you even knowing.
Me knowing.
Yeah.
And maybe the reason I'm doing that because I haven't dealt with my attachment issue with my own self. But then I looked and I realised I did something subconsciously. Right.
Is it again? We come back to the choice of because of or in spite of.
Because of, in spite of.
Yeah.
But even when I found out even when I was talking with her indoors, right, if no one understands the phrase "her indoors," comes from Minder, a nice program in the 80s.
You used to watch that?
After that, what man? I love that program.
I still can hear the theme tune in my head, man.
Arthur, the dodgiest man on the planet. He was dodgier than Del Boy from Only Fools and Horses, man. So, but sorry, we've gone somewhere else. But her indoors, we were discussing it, and she even recognised some points in her. And we were talking about it amongst ourselves and saying, okay, your upbringing, my upbringing, and we were talking about her upbringing. She went quite deep into it. And, and she deals with this stuff a lot. She deals with the touch different because she's a social worker.
Yeah, she's dealing with all these kids.
She deals with a myriad.
Yeah, but the thing is, you having that conversation with her shows that when you've gone through these other attachments and your other entanglements, when you weren't necessarily having the conversation with that attachment, with that entanglement, but you are now, because you've gone through the journey and the ups and downs of all life and everything else like that, you've reached a point and you reach this moment with the person you're with, where you turn around and go, okay, this is the correct attachment. This is the person that not only am I building something with, but I can discuss what the reason I am. But
also what I noticed,
and also she can have the conversation with you.
She's got training,
she's the reason why she is the reason why she is. So it's almost like you're sharing the experiences and you're sharing basically the issues and the problems that come from this theory, where you're trying to analyze which one are you.
But what I found crazy about attachment theory was like, even when the two of us were discussing it, was that how everyone, well, this is my personal opinion, I'm no psychiatrist, I'm no psychoanalyst, but in my opinion, I just think everyone is a mixture of all four attachment styles.
But they will more lean heavily towards one.
Would lean one more.
You got one that's more percentage than the others, but it falls all together.
It all falls together. And I looked at it and I was like, okay. And I sort of looked, I said, maybe those attachment styles are also different stages of your life. Because at different stages of your
you
life,
go
you have
through
needs
and you meet different people, so you grow different bondings, and there's different disappointments, there's different growths, there's experience, there's ups, there's downs,
and there's different insecurities.
Yeah, man. There's different securities.
There's also different moments that happen. Yeah. Because the moments that happen when you're 3 are not the same moments that happen when you're like 9. And moments that happen when you're 9 are not the same moments that happen when you're 16. Forward. But then you can try to, if you recognize, half the battle is always the time is what's drilled into our heads. Half the time is to recognize the signs. Half the battle is to recognize what we could possibly, of those 4 parts of the attachment theory, what our upbringing was. But
with them 4, you're going through all the time in life.
Yeah, but you're going through them, but but it's also recognize the sign. It's also if you recognize, I have never come across attachment theory before until you mentioned it to me previously, and when you previously discussed it.
So if you learn about it,
when you discuss this, then all of a sudden you start basically going, well, hang on a minute, that's kind of something. Half the battle is to discuss, and half the battle is to talk. There was a thing I was watching
Small of the battle is to accept.
The other thing I was watching the other day, and
acceptance.
there's something I was watching the other day, and it was on ITV, terrestrial channel in the UK for those who don't know, and they were interviewing Ruby Wax.
All right.
Okay.
She's still around.
Still around.
She's still about, man.
Still about. Now, Ruby Wax reached a point where she was doing interviews and then she got pushed to the side because of her age. Right?
Ageism.
Yeah. Right? It's a fact. We all know it happens in the entertainment industry. So Ruby had also gone through, and because they didn't notice it because of the age range and all of this stuff, she had been dealing with mental health issues, especially depression. So she almost took a pivot to take a second career. She goes to Oxford University, does a postgraduate course in cognitive behavioral theory and everything, starts writing books. And there's a little thing that I didn't realize that she'd actually done. She actually created a cafe called the Frazzled Cafe. And the whole point of it is that people go there if they're having mental health issues, if they're having...
It's called the Frazzle.
So it's Frazzle Cafe because, you know,
because
most
if you're going through a break at the moment.
One of the first things to do is what she does, and the reason the part of this cafe is to do, is for people to have a conversation.
To talk.
And because the point of when you're having a conversation is you share the burden, right? So when you're going through this and you're having this discussion, and you're having a discussion with her indoors, you're sharing the burden. And she's sharing the burden with her. That is basically that she's carried. And when you're trying to work out, going, right, okay, which part of my life was I doing A? Which part of my life was I doing B? Which part of my life was I doing C? Which part of my life was doing D? And then you look at it and go, holy shit, I was doing all of them. Mm-hmm. And at various points in my life, I was all of them. But half the battle is to recognize it.
And that's acknowledged.
For you to go and talk about it, you have to acknowledge it.
You have to recognize it. Then you go and acknowledge it, then you accept it. And then you basically go, right, so how do I move forward?
Yeah, it could break you.
How do I move forward with this? And how do I carry this weight? How do I move forward? How do I carry this weight? The burden that is, if your upbringing was basically number
What
4.
helps is you got someone to talk to. That will help all it. You know?
That always helps. But the thing is, that's always...
It's not come with the forming, again, it's that forming those attachments. I found that trust plays a massive part.
Yeah, and
that's not in there. That's not in the form.
No, it's not in that. It's not in
but
the
yeah, I will see that is massive.
It's implied.
It's
implied.
It's implied. But the thing is, this comes back to...
secure attachment, it's implied that
you trust the
trust is already.
Yeah, but this comes back to the thing that you had.
As the trust diminishes, the attachments get less.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but this also comes back to the thing that you mentioned before, what you said before, and how you referred to before, is that basically all we're looking for is the person who will be our secret keeper. Yeah. Right. So therefore, but the thing, what that cause is what the root cause of that is. We're having a person who's your secret keeper, be they male, be they female, be they other. And that's not me doing a slur, that's just me going male, female, other. It is literally, can you trust that person? But are they, by you trusting them, are they going to use the information you give them against you to bash you over the head with it when you basically...
to kick you when you're down.
But that then comes into that...
that's important.
Partially, if you come then to the avoidance attachment.
Yes.
Because
you don't want to be hurt.
You don't want to be hurt.
Because you don't want to be hurt.
So you won't open up.
Right. So you don't want to be hurt.
No.
So you go into that avoidant attachment. But as all...
I will admit, I've done that. I've done
all 4 at a certain point. That's what I'm saying.
It's usually somebody who's turning
and I'm sure I'm going to do
around and doing number 3. Is that where they turn around and go,
and I'm going to do another one.
I'm comfortable in my own skin, I'm comfortable in my own company, and I'm happy by myself.
One thing I found that I went through a period of time where all I wanted to be
was by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed my company and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, that's when I learned the difference between being alone and being lonely.
And depression.
No.
You wasn't depressed, but you was lonely.
Being alone and being lonely,
Lonely,
is two
yeah,
different
yeah.
things.
It's true.
You can be alone
And enjoy your own company, but you
all the
miss,
time.
there's a
you
thing-
miss, you
No,
miss
you may not
love.
be lonely.
No,
you
but
may
there
not
is
be
a-
lonely.
Yeah, no. There's
But when you're lonely, right, you could be in the midst
I know,
of your
bro.
family,
It
in the
was
midst of everything.
listen.
No, but there's a
and
thing.
you are
There's
Lonely, you know what?
No,
it
but there's
is,
a thing
it
that's
is,
basically
you know
there's
what
a
it
thing
is.
with that.
It means you've got no one
No
to
one
turn
to
to.
turn
There's
to
no one
that
form
you can
there's
talk.
No, but
one
there's a
you
thing
want
with
to
that. There's a thing that you can be surrounded
you
by
lo-
anybody and you can never feel as much as more alone. And
Alright,
again,
but yeah.
this is previously mentioned. The character Vita mentioned it in Champion, where she's on the phone to Bosca, and she turned around and she basically sent him a voice message and she just go, "I'm surrounded by all these people and I've never felt so alone."
Yeah. Because you're lonely.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you have
But
nobody
being
to turn
alone-
to share the weight with.
But being alone is just you, the individual.
Yeah.
Because when I went through that and I understood, I was like, wait, hold on. Because I went through a stage, I had this breakup, and I just decided, you know what? I'm doing me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be on my own.
Can I say something,
and
Mom?
be alone.
For you to be lonely, do you need to love someone? To feel loneliness.
Loneliness has nothing to do with love.
So if you don't completely have no emotion for no one out there, how can you feel that loneliness? Because when you feel lonely,
No, but you are.
your heart is stringing for.
No,
that
you're just
person.
alone.
You're just alone.
You're just feeling alone.
There's
Because
plenty of people out there, bro.
Because we go back to the beginning.
So it's
right?
love.
What is it? Human beings.
Yeah.
We are naturally looking for.
You got no
attachments.
brethrens. You wake up today, you got no brethrens. No one knows you. You got no one in thing. You can go to the pub. If you can walk around the pub and say hello. You might not have friends. You still can be lonely, but you see what I mean?
But
There's
as
no
you can
love
see-
there. There is, you know what?
As you can see, this subject is something that we need to go deep into. Right? We haven't even whiffed abandonment. But every day we form different attachments. I'm a strong believer that any attachment that you form in life is not coincidence and it's not by chance. You make these attachments, these connections for a specific reason. Something might bring that connection or that attachment, but you may not know the purpose of that attachment or connection until a later date. But, you know, we should never hold back from feeling that we can attach ourselves to the right person. But the most important thing is we have to recognize certain things within ourselves, and most importantly, we have to heal from it. How do we heal from it? It's seeking help, seeking someone you can talk to, seeking counseling, seeking therapy. And one of the things that we want to start doing here, we want to start giving you links to people that you can talk to.
Professional.
To professional people. As you know, this is Drum and Fire Productions. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but most of all, share this content.